Ahoy there, drum lovers. Today we're going to be talking about Mark Guiliana. And I'm going to show you how a simple concept from one of his clinics can be fleshed out to inspire beats like this. I'm Nate, and this is the 80/20 Drummer. Stay tuned. Hey guys, Nate from the 80/20 Drummer, and seriously, will you tell me when my hair gets to be too much? Anyway, if you're familiar with the channel, you know that I am a Guilianite, and if you're not, well, get used to it. Mark is one of my favorite drummers, and I've done 2 lessons on him already, but actually I sort of started from the end by deconstructing the tune 7 Ways and the solo, some of the ways he soloed over that tune, and I thought I'd go back to basics with this lesson and borrow a concept from Mark and then talk about how you can practice it and sort of bring my own thing to it. So without further ado, the concept is this. Okay, so what's that? That was 2 8 notes, 2 triplets, 2 16ths, and 2 triplets. So the concept is 8 notes, triplets, 16ths, triplets. And why does Mark do this? He does it because he wanted to practice changing subdivisions seamlessly. So I think probably a number of us in our drum lessons have done some version of and that seems trivial, but changing subdivisions is really one of the hardest things to do when we're playing and when we're soloing. We can do it in isolation, but it really messes us up in context. We tend to rush certain things and drag other things. So Mark set himself a challenge to be able to acclimate from one subdivision to another as quickly as possible. So if you're doing you've got all this lead time to adjust your feel, and if you jump into it a little too quickly, you can always slow it back. And Mark was like, no, I'm going to give myself only the barest, most essential element of all of these subdivisions, which is the first 2. The distance between any 2 subdivisions is all the information you need to think about the rate of that subdivision, just like a count off. 3, 4, right? 3, 4. Mark wanted to give himself only the barest of information, but be able to change subdivisions with that. So instead of, he just gave himself, and he figured if he could do that, everything else would be easier, etc., etc. So Mark goes into a bunch of different ways you can play with that. And again, this isn't Mark's lesson, this is my lesson. So I'm not going to go so much into that, but I want to talk about 2 things. Number 1 is Mark taught himself to feel this, and I want to underpin that by showing you exactly where it is in time with the help of the metronome. And number 2, I just want to show you a couple cool things I invented that you can do with it. So to start off with, I think a good way to conceptualize this is with the metronome clicking on 16th notes in 3. And in 3/4, your bass line is going to be the first 2 quarter notes. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I've done another lesson about these relationships, but if in 3/4 playing quarter notes, it's 3 beats to a bar with 4 16th notes per note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to squeeze 4 notes into that same bar, in other words, you'd be doing dotted 8ths, you can just make it 3 16ths per note. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So right there, you have a recipe for changing subdivision from the 3 beats per bar to the 4 beats per bar. Now, the way you do it from changing from 3 beats per bar to 2 beats per bar is instead of 4/16 per beat, it's 6/16 per beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Okay, this all sounds pretty abstract until I put it together, starting at the slowest rate. So we're going to do 1 bar of 6/16 per note, 1 bar of 4/16 per note, and 1 bar of 3/16 per note, and you'll see what happens. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. What have we just done? We've just quantized Mark Guiliana's lick. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a. So let me play that for you with the metronome clicking on 16ths in 3/4 at quarter equals 139. And I'll just do it with that orchestration. And that's one of the many that Mark discusses. But again, that's Mark's thing. I'm not going to get into that. I want to introduce to you really quickly, if you're not familiar, a metronome variation I like to use, which is putting the accent on the 16th note upbeat of the bar. So instead of 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a, it'll be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I've done is actually just about the most difficult part of this entire lesson. Like, if you can do that in time, you're pretty much finished. And don't cheat, guys. You have to really nail it with the metronome. And in a minute, I'll show you how to make it even tougher. But an easier way to make that easier is to play the missing notes. So in the bar of 2/4, there's nothing missing because you're already playing those 2 notes. But in the bar of 3, you're only playing the first 2, so you just add that hi-hat note. Of course, in the bar of 4, you're only playing the first 2, so you add 2 more. And that'll help you lock in better. Let me demonstrate that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we get into some of the fun stuff, which is I want to give you a beat that you can play, that you can think of in 3, but that sounds authentic to each independent meter. And this is jumping off of Mark's thing into my thing now. It's using this as a springboard to inspire you to practice things with differing rates that'll make your time stronger and increase your creativity. So I like to do one thing that sounds like this. At the slow rate, 1, 2, 1, 2. At the 3, it's pretty simple. 1, 2, 3. And at the 4, here's where it gets interesting. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's put these 3 together and we'll practice cycling from one to the next. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So another way I jump off of this is that I will actually stay in each of the meters a little longer and try to loop improvised ideas in that meter and then to transition to the adjacent meter. So let's try this between the 3 and the slower 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and finally, the twist I want to show you on this whole thing is practicing with the metronome on only these 16th note upbeats. And now I'm going to improvise freely over that framework, and this will probably be B-roll for the beginning of the show. All right, so that concludes the lesson. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you want to go back to basics and triage your playing, most drummers make some version of the same 3 mistakes. If you're trying to get better, work on playing together with yourself. Work on your time and work on your idea flow, controlling your ideas. The 80-20 roadmap will help you get that done. It's $5, it's dope as hell, and it'll help you. Guys, it's been real. This was another challenging one. I will see you next week for another lesson of the week. Peace.